Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I got my lighting wrong. There we go. Not great, but better than it was. I forgot to switch my lights. Here, let's see if we can fix that. Good enough. I'm a little redder looking than I normally am, but that'll be all right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dion's Daily Dose. Not so much daily anymore, but I can't think of a better name, so we're going to run with it. Wednesday, July 28th. So there's a lot going on. I linked before on my post on my page the Michigan City area schools meeting that happened yesterday. You know, I have a couple of notes from that meeting that I think are critical to understand kind of what's going on. One of the things that was really interesting, one of the things that's really interesting that happened during the meeting is they talked about increases or a new budget for fees, book rental, etc. There were a couple of questions, are there increases? The person's like, yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, because we have a new program. No one asked any other questions. No one reviewed it. It was simply, yeah, let's approve. Okay, all right. So they approved new fees without looking or inquiring. That bothered me a little bit. But I'm going to tell you what really, really bothered me that happened. So apparently there's a program, a joint program with Valparaiso University, where it's the Student Recovery Credit Program. They're partnering with a pre-service teacher. And here's my issue. Not a single person on the council, committee, board, whatever, not a single person mentioned privacy concerns. Not a single person said, well, will our children's data be available, be at issue, anything? Nothing. Not a single thing. There was the listing agreement was incorrect for the Old Pine School, but they said they found a buyer, so they're going to fix it. The next thing that they went on to was the response plan, the COVID response plan. Basically, they already had their mind made up. They put out this response plan, and it was an across-the-board mask mandate in the schools. So it didn't matter. They said, yeah, we're blue right now, but it's highly likely we'll be in the yellow. So the CDC put out their recommendation. The school stuck to it. One interesting thing that was mentioned that I don't think got enough exposure was that athletes in active practice / sports do not require masks, right? So the other thing that's important is vaccine status is irrelevant for sports. Either way, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, you can still play. There's no inquiry. There's no nothing. So we're forcing an entire school district to have a mandate when it's not consistent. That they admit one interesting quote that I think is important. Schools cannot mandate vaccines, nor in Indiana. They're talking about in Indiana. Schools cannot mandate vaccines, nor make them show that they're vaccinated. The board said this, and I think that's really important to remember. every single person unanimously voted for that to rush that in there. If you're interested in the entire meeting, you can go back and watch it. It is posted on the link. I'll drag it up for you if you want. But there's that. One of the things that I got up to talk about, and obviously there was more that I could have, would have, should have said, but one of the things that I spoke about that I think is really, 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 really important. They mentioned that, if you don't want to attend in-person school, the virtual learning is possible, the Virtual Learning Academy. And I stood up and I spoke and I said, look, my issue is last year, the virtual learning was a disaster. And it was. I experienced it firsthand with my children, particularly Donovan. He was a overachieving student. He was doing extremely well. In-person learning was recommended for the higher learning classes, the college courses, the dual credit, advanced programs, all of that stuff. The back and forth really impacted him negatively. We're in school, we're not in school, we're in school, we're not in school. But more importantly, the online facet of this was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Donovan would be in class. I would see him in class. I would be sitting next to him, watching him be on time in class for every class. And I would still get a call from the school saying he wasn't in class. This happened on numerous occasions. The learning curriculum was terrible. When I contacted last year, because one of the decisions we had to make last school year was whether to send him in person or keep him home to do virtual learning, because there would be masks and social distancing and contact tracing and all the stuff that goes into it, right? We were actually going to just keep him home, and we reached out to the administration and we asked them, okay, so Donovan is going into all of these advanced programs. How does that fit in with the online learning aspect? Is he going to be able to get college credits for these courses? Is he going to be able to receive the same level of education? And their response last year was actually only the regular programs are offered online. We don't really have a process in place for the advanced programs. And the same held true for those with IEPs, individual education plans, the people that struggle, right? They're kind of left out of the loop. They're left twisting and hanging in the wind. And so I said, what are we doing here? Is there a plan this year to address that? And I was essentially, sorry about the camera shade. I was essentially told, talk to me offline about this. I said, well, so you're telling me your policy is there is no policy? Well, no, I'm saying talk to me offline about this. Now, to their credit, after the camera stopped rolling, they did address my concerns on an individual basis. But I'm here to tell you, parents out there, that your child is going, and especially if your child will be attending online school, you better get on these people. You better pick up the phone and you better call the principal, your counselor, someone, and make sure that your child doesn't get left behind. And I mean that very sincerely. Make sure that they are ensuring your child is receiving quality education in a virtual environment. Because last year was an abomination. I'm just going to say it. It was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. I'm not going to get into Donovan's performance and how it suffered and all of that. I'm not going to get into that because that's his business. But I'm going to tell you, I was horribly disappointed last year in the online component of schools. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to move on to something that affects all of us in this county. Let me get to the heart of this. So I think something that's really quite telling is going on right now. Let me give you the backstory, and then I'm gonna give you my take on it. I think this is really, really important. We all need to be aware of what is happening here. There we go. All right. So this was on hometownnewsnow.com, aka 96.7 The Eagle. So local political volcano erupts again. LaPorte County Attorney Shaw Friedman is asking a public official to drop his affiliation with what he described as a radical group implicated in the January 6th thing at the U.S. Capitol. Now, Friedman claims LaPorte County Commissioner Joe Haney is associated with the Oath Keepers, all capital, an alleged American far-right militia organization known for its anti-government views and conspiracy theories. Quote, now we understand why Commissioner Joe Haney has, since coming to office January 1st, trafficked in conspiracy theories and simply makes up stories alleging all kinds of corruption, sleaze, and wrongdoing in LaPorte County government, with not a shred of evidence to back up his claims, Friedman said. I'm today calling on him to publicly renounce claims to the Oath Keepers and start acting like a public servant whose only loyalties are to the people of LaPorte County. The two men, along with LaPorte County Auditor Tim Stabos, have been embroiled in controversy since January, which resulted in Friedman suing Stabos on defamation of character claims. Stabos has accused Friedman of unduly running the county government. His claims have been supported by Haney, but rejected by other county officials. The lawsuit has not been decided in the courts. Haney is president of 13C Gun Reviews, a gun rights organization. Haney said he is not connected to the Oath Keepers, all capital, and the picture of him holding the machine. Look at this, guys. First of all, picture of him holding the machine gun. This is not a machine gun. It's not a machine gun. It's a rifle. Was taken over 10 years ago. A picture of Haney holding the firearm, it's a firearm, is posted on the 13C Gun Review's website, and a caption underneath the picture refers to Haney as an Oath Keeper. Haney said the term Oath Keeper was taken out of context by Friedman and means that he is an Oath Keeper regarding his dedication to upholding gun rights and the U.S. Constitution, not a member of the official Oath Keeper organization. I got some stuff to say after this. Stick with me. Haney claims that Friedman is trying to paint him as some wacko, but he's proud of his work in defending gun rights, his work in promoting gun safety, and the U.S. Constitution. Quote, to try and somehow paint me and associate me with some other group that I have absolutely no affiliation with whatsoever is preposterous. It just goes to show how desperate Shaw Friedman is to personally attack me. This is part of the seedy underbelly of LaPorte County politics I talked about when I ran, Haney said. Haney was elected in November and took his seat on the three-member county commission in January. The friction between the political figures who all spoke last night during the LaPorte County Council meeting boiled over. A 5-minute break was taken in the meeting so the charged atmosphere could simmer down. Stabos questioned the legal advice of Friedman over a $1.5 million no-bid contract awarded last week for repairs to the Franklin Street drawbridge in Michigan City. The commissioners approved the contract on a 2-1 vote, with Haney voting against it and publicly questioning Friedman's legal judgment on the issue. Friedman said the no-bid contract was justified under state guidelines because of the emergency nature of a bridge vital to the economy of Michigan City and the contractor being a longtime caretaker of the bridge and specialist in its upkeep and maintenance. Stabos said one of his duties is to pay the bills for the county, and he won't pay unless the Indiana State Board of Accounts confirms Friedman's claims that a no-bid contract was appropriate under state guidelines. Now, there's more to this story, right? But I do find it very interesting that WCOE The Eagle also posted the exact same story to a Facebook group called LaPorte Current News and Local Reviews. Bottom line, it's an inflammatory story. And the very fact, look, all other things aside, right? The very fact that they say machine gun is absolutely ridiculous. But let me point out kind of where this all kind of started from. I just so you know, I've reached out to Joe Haney, and I would like to have him on the show. He has agreed that when he has time, he will be coming on. But I'm going to I can't really zoom in on this much more, but I'm going to full screen it just so you can see. I don't really know that makes much of a difference. So I'm going to read this. This is Joe Haney's post from July 23rd. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I'm going to run through this really quickly. You can pause and rewind if you need to. A member of the public who was on Zoom during Wednesday's commission meeting sent this screenshot to me after the meeting. I asked the county attorney if he ghost writes emails for elected officials or department heads. Initially, he said no and denied it. I then produced 2 emails proving his answer to be untruthful. One email where Mr. Friedman tells a council person what to say, word for word, and even signs the response with the council person's name. Thanks to an accidental reply all, we have a copy of that, which transpired via private email accounts on their part, and we were able to recover it. The second email was timestamped 3 minutes later, in which the council person pretends the 4 paragraphs that were copied and pasted from Friedman's email verbatim were their own words. The final 2 sentences, which were the only original text in the entire email, were added by the council person. The screenshot you are seeing is moments after I provided hard copies of the emails to my fellow commissioners, proving beyond a doubt what had transpired, of which neither of them could even be bothered to look at them. This is dereliction of duty by my fellow commissioners, as they are apparently acting as accomplices while the city attorney attempts to, in my opinion, suborn the integrity of both the commission and the council, as well as individual elected officials. This is clear-cut evidence of the county attorney attempting to inappropriately and, in my opinion, unethically influence elected officials. In this case, a $1.5 million no-bid contract. Please watch these meetings, see how your elected officials and a non-elected at-will appointed attorney are acting and behaving. As a result of this and other issues I presented earlier in the year, I will be proposing an ordinance requiring all county officials, employees, and professional advisors to use county email addresses for all county business so that these and other exchanges are properly maintained by the county and available for FOIA ARPA requests, as well as criminal investigations. Now, I have a question. Why isn't it already that way? Why isn't that required already? For the record, I have been diligent in using my county email address for official and county business since being sworn in. In January, when occasional emails came into my private email used during the campaign, I would forward the entire chain to my county address and reply from there, in addition to requesting the sender update the appropriate address for future emails. I ran on trust, transparency, and truth. I'm not going to stop fighting until everything being done in our county government is completely above board. Enough is enough. Now, let me say this. We're going to go here, and I'm just going to talk about real quick a couple of the comments that are listed here. Basically, first of all, I don't know who this person is, but they're afraid of a gun. Okay, I suppose that's your right, but what is it for? Hunting? Remember, animals don't have guns. The Second Amendment has nothing to do with hunting, you small-minded. Nothing to do with hunting. The founding fathers weren't afraid of the deer rising up and committing tyranny. It has nothing to do with hunting. Anyway, look, first of all, it's not a machine gun. But let's just call what we're seeing here. So a lot of people are saying, oh, he said Oath Keeper, he said Oath Keeper. Oath Keepers are, I guess, an organization. I'm not even that familiar with them, but apparently they're supposed to have some connection to a fringe group. I don't know. What I am going to say is this, and here's the important part. I want all of you to pay attention, especially those of you who are drawing the connection between the word Oath Keeper on his website, which I guess is like 10 years old, and the organization going by the name, Oath Keepers. As Joe pointed out, and I believe rightly so, his word Oath Keeper was meant, his term Oath Keeper was meant towards the oath that he took towards to fulfill and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. He took this when he signed up for the armed forces. He took this oath again when he was sworn in as commissioner. That's what he means by his oath, and he intends on keeping that oath. I believe what he says. Also, for those of you drawing the correlation, I'm going to talk about BLM for a moment. We've all seen the reports regarding the organization Black Lives Matter. The people who founded that organization, the things that they've said regarding certain Marxist views and being against the nuclear family. People like to point out that the movement of BLM is different than the organization of BLM, right? It's not my words. It's those defending BLM. Now, if you want to support the organization or distance yourself from the organization, that is absolutely all right. But these are the same people claiming that because two words are the same, it has to relate to the organization. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. So which is it? Either there is a separation between BLM, the movement, and BLM, the organization, because that's what they claim, right? Either there is a separation and it's two different things, or in the case of Joe Haney, because he said Oath Keeper 10 years ago, he has to be connected to this organization, which is not even around here. There has to be the connection. So which is it? You cannot have it both ways. Look, the bottom line is we are seeing a concerted effort to draw attention away from a very disturbing, if true. I personally have not seen the emails he's referring to. I haven't even had a chance to watch the actual meeting, but I saw the screenshot. Let me see here. Yeah, so let me show you the picture there. I forgot to do that. So here's Joe is right here. This is Joe Haney. Sheila looks like she's too busy playing on her phone. And Rich is either sighing very deeply or taking a nap. And I'm pretty sure that's Shaw Friedman down here with his head in his hands. A picture is worth 1,000 words, ladies and gentlemen. I do find it very, very interesting that shortly after this, suddenly Shaw wants to go after Joe for being a member of this so-called organization based on a 10-year-old post. And I got bad news for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you believe that wanting to uphold your oath to the United States of America is a bad thing, that's a problem. Again, I don't know anything about this organization that goes by that name. But Joe pointed out as well, he plays golf. He's not a member of the PGA. If you enjoy playing golf, are you automatically a member of every country club or a member of the PGA? Of course not. Of course not. Just like everyone who owns a firearm is not a member of the NRA. Just like everyone who owns a firearm is not a criminal, even though the left would like to point us that way. Look, it's absolutely insane. And to me, it shows desperation. It shows someone who has gotten caught. Again, if the evidence is what it is, shows somebody that has gotten caught and is trying desperately to pull together all assets to point the blame at someone else and make them look bad. I'm here to tell you, I absolutely believe in Joe Haney. I absolutely believe in the man. I think he is the best commissioner we have right now, period. I believe that he's doing everything that he can, that he's liberty-minded. I haven't changed a single opinion about the man since before the election when I had him on, and you guys can go back and listen to that interview. I think it's absolutely sickening what the county attorney is trying to do. Let's bear in mind, the county attorney is not elected. He's appointed by the commissioners. And I also would like to remind everyone that the man in this picture that looks like he's sleeping, Rich Mrazinski, ran on a platform of getting rid of this attorney. Now, suddenly, he isn't. You draw your own conclusions there. I know I have. A lot of people have. This is the same person that, went from, oh, yeah, you elect me, we're going to get rid of Friedman, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And as soon as he got elected, suddenly he was defending him. Why? Well, that's a whole other story. I will say some very interesting things happened with appointments and all of that. I've covered that in the past. Hopefully, Joe will have time to come on here soon. There are several people that I'm waiting for them to get back to me for interviews because I think we can have some really good discussions. There's a lot of stuff going on, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye out because big things are in the works. It may not seem like it. There's lots of distractions going on. Stay focused. Pay attention because the powers that be, the powers that are in charge, or at least want you to believe they're in charge, are going to do everything they can to maintain the power that they have. Look, the bottom line is we, the people, are in charge of these people. We are their boss. They are not ours. The commissioners, the county council, the school board, all of these people answer to us. We do not answer to them. And it is time that all of us start making our voice heard. Start showing up to meetings or at minimum public comment for these people and tell them we're sick and tired of being told that we are lesser than they are. Jack says, so because I swore to uphold the Indiana Constitution while standing in front of Captain Urbach is an issue for taking that oath. That's exactly what they're trying to say, Jack. That's the problem. It's so easy because a couple of words line up to paint someone in a negative light now. And I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. We deserve better. And more important than any of this is, why is a county attorney ghostwriting emails for county elected officials? Now, I don't know which commissioner that he's referring to. I'd really like to know. I have my suspicions. But I'm going to say this. Pay close attention to who's on the ballot, especially coming up in the primary. There's going to be some challengers. There will definitely be some challengers for open seats this year. We've had enough. We, the people, have had enough. There will definitely be some people running for Sheila Mateus's seat. Of that I can assure you. Keep an eye on it. There's some announcements coming out from some people pretty soon. We've had enough. We've had enough. And for the record, I don't know if you paid attention to what's going on in Arizona, what's going on in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, and Wisconsin. All 50 states need to be audited. Dave, that's a good question. Should politicians have to wear video cameras like police? That's a really good question. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? I know that if I was elected, if I am elected the next time I run for office, I would have no problem with that. As a matter of fact, I have a serious problem with all the NDAs a lot of these politicians are forced to sign. I would like to see all these NDAs done away with. I am all for transparency and accountability in our government. I think one thing I will say about the pandemic is it certainly caused a lot of things that were ignored to suddenly be more present via video, right? We're able to Zoom watch a lot of this stuff that people maybe couldn't get out of the house to go see. But now via Zoom, they can, in the comfort of their home, bring it up and be like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know that person acted like that in the meetings," right? But now we do. Pay attention, because when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. We've seen it over and over. We've seen these people that get up in front of you and they say all these pretty words, and they have the backing of this person that we kind of believe and that person that we kind of believe, and we're like, okay, all right. They certainly check all the boxes. They look like they're, fiscally conservative. They seem like they love God. They seem like they love this country. And then once they're elected, they turn into the worst possible version that they could be. They turn into someone that acts like they have these certain values. And then when it comes time to vote or time to stand up, They don't. They absolutely don't. Pay attention to their actions, all of these people, because they shall be known by their actions, right? We shall know them by their actions, something like that. I'm not a very good Bible quoter, but I do remember that's in there, right? And it comes down to, when people act how they are, why aren't we believing them? Why do we let them act the way they act and then vote for them again and again and again? I think some big changes are coming, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. Because we, the people, are no longer asleep. We are paying attention, and we are going to hold these people to task. I know I am. That's what I'm doing this for. I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this for my fame, so far, I haven't made a single dollar. It's cost me more money than anything else to run for office and have this podcast and do all this stuff. I haven't made a single dime off of any of this. That said, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it because it needs to be done. I don't hear anyone locally. If you guys know of somebody, let me know. I don't know of anyone locally doing this. I don't know of anyone in this area that's talking about what's happening in Northwest Indiana, in LaPorte County. I mean, yeah, you got a couple of little radio stations here and there, but in general, there's nobody doing this. So if you know somebody who would like to come on the show, I really want to have more interviews. You guys can only listen to me wax poetic for so long. I like the hard-hitting interviews. I like asking the hard questions. I like having these people on and telling us directly to you, not through a filter, not through a TV camera, but just right here, a conversation, you, me, and them, and they can defend themselves to you. I'm hoping we can get some more people on soon. Like I said, I have a few people I'm waiting for. Hey, by the way, and you're absolutely right, Dave. Dave brings up a great point. People are afraid of the backlash. So many people now are afraid to say what they actually think. And it's horrible. It really is, because, cancel culture is running rampant, and you say one little thing that someone can latch into and take out of context and run with it. You'd think we would have learned something with the media and the former president, Donald Trump, right? You would think we would have learned something, or at least the left would have learned something, that it's so easy to take something out of context and blow it up into something that it's not. But unfortunately, we as a whole don't seem to have learned the lessons that we should have. And it's unfortunate, because one of the reasons that I do this is to try to tell you the whole story behind the little viral things that we see. I want to show you a couple of stories real quick before I sign off. One of them is I posted this, but I find it very disturbing. The Department of Justice has declared that vaccine mandates are indeed legal. The VA, California, and New York City to require some or all government employees to get vaccinated or tested weekly. That's perfectly okay, apparently. Go away. So, federal law does not prohibit public agencies and private businesses from requiring vaccines that are under emergency use authorization, the DOJ concluded in an opinion. Now, I do expect this to get appealed, and hopefully it'll go higher. But that, along with, let's see, where was I? There. Along with this, kind of goes together. We've seen New York City, de Blasio, is requiring vaccines everywhere. And Biden is allegedly going to start requiring the same thing. Now, I'm just going to say this. I got to be, I've learned I got to be really, really careful talking about stuff on YouTube because they get all, butthurt about stuff. But I'm going to say this. If you're vaccinated against something and you still get it at a higher rate than those people who are not vaccinated against said thing, doesn't that mean that it's faulty? I'm just asking questions here. If someone out there knows of a good platform or good way to stream to a website using StreamYard, let me know. I put it this way. I figured out a way to do it, but it's going to cost a lot of money. Money I don't have. I'm just going to be honest. I want my program to be able to say what I want to say. I'm barely able to keep in contact with you guys now. I got banned off of Twitter right before the election, conveniently. 2 accounts gone, my personal and my campaign accounts. I wasn't spreading so-called misinformation. I wasn't even sharing much other than, hey, here's what my campaign's doing. Conveniently, right before the election, I was suspended and am still suspended. So it is what it is. And Jack's right. You can even do out of context with graphics and statistics and just give little snippets, and it will not give the full picture. So I have heard rumors, and that's all they are rumors, that more and more states are going to pick up the audit and start auditing their elections. Dave, you called it. You called it, my man. And that's my number one problem with this. Anytime a company, look, let's be honest here. We're talking about companies like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. These companies have a history of deceiving the consumer, faking reports. Forget everything else. Let's just talk about baby powder. Baby powder. We've got billions of dollars in a lawsuit over baby powder because it caused cancer. These are the people you want to trust with something that they're not even held responsible for. I can't even speak to the insanity that's involved in that. And you can look, I'm just going to summarize with this and leave you on a positive note. You can have all the scientists that you want. The bottom line, trust the science, is trust asking questions, because that's what science is. Science is an ever-evolving thing. There were people who thought washing your hands before going into surgery was a bad thing, right? How many people died before that was finally accepted? I can't remember that. I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce it right, but thalidomide drug of the 50s and 60s was horrific. They gave it to pregnant women. They came out with babies horribly disfigured. Scientists at the time, the majority, or at least enough, said, oh no, this drug's fine. Then they understood that no, it's not. Look, the bottom line is science is ever evolving. It's questioning what's happening. Why is this? Why is that? What can we learn more by asking this question? And Dave, you're absolutely right. That's the question you can't put on a post and not get warned. It's the ministry of truth. It is exactly what it is now. And unfortunately, we have a society and a group of people that are happy for censorship, that are happy to be told what to think. And it's very disturbing. But I'm here to tell you, because I truly believe this, that the vast majority of people want freedom of speech. The vast majority of people want accountability and transparency in our government. Why shouldn't we know all of the things that they're keeping from us? They work for us. So do I believe that there are certain things that they can't just put out there for national security reasons? Of course. You can't just know the exact layout of a certain base and what the defenses are. Yeah, I believe that. Sure. Because our enemies can utilize that. There's nothing dumber than handing the enemy a list of your most, valuable assets or your most critical infrastructure. Those of you who know what I'm talking about. Top 16 things that, please don't destroy this. Oh my God. Anyway, look, more is coming up soon. Like I said, trying to get some guests on here because I think it'll be a far better experience. But until then, keep the faith, ladies and gentlemen. There are big things in the works. Some of it some of it you don't. Some of it I know, some of it I don't. But all together, I think we have the full picture. So keep your head up. Things are going to get better. Sometimes they have to get worse before they get better, and they have. They've gotten worse. Look at the gas pumps. Anyway, thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. This went on a little longer than I wanted, but we've got some interviews that we're going to be scheduling soon, and that's, I think, where the fun's going to happen. So thank you for joining me. God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2021. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.